This is Ron from Super 8 to Video. This Video Studio Pro White Balance Beginner tutorial is the first in my white balance playlist. In this color correction tutorial, using Video Studio Pro 2020, I will change the white balance of a darkly lit 8mm clip. The basics of the color correction tools in Video Studio Pro are covered in under 7 minutes. Super 8 films often start with a dark scene and then they will jump to a light scene. To white balance films like this, the dark scene needs to be separated from the light scene. Scroll to the end of the dark scene and click on the movie. Then come to the scissors and click on it. This divides the movie into two separate clips. The clip on the left is the dark scene. The clip on the right is the light scene. Now click the dark scene to activate it. Select the edit symbol, and if it's not here, it is probably over here. Select the Color tab, then select White Balance. As soon as this box is clicked, the computer will try to white balance the film for us. That is what this auto down here is all about. This film is so out of whack that it will probably do a terrible job. From experience, I have learned on films like this, you will need to look closely because not much will change, but it will change just a little. When the white balance is pretty close, this auto feature can do a pretty good job. I will click it, look at the film, and I bet it will hardly change. These icons down here are what I call the color temperature sensors. The ones to the left make it more blue or cooler temperature. The ones to the right make the film more yellow-orange or a warmer temperature. Once you click on an icon, you can fine-tune the temperature up or down with these arrows. I find on these darkly lit 8mm clips, the extreme left or coldest temperatures are usually needed. As you see, considering what we are given in this film, it does a pretty good job. Up here, we can fine-tune it even more. Select this to make it just a tad weaker, and this just a tad stronger. This makes it more vivid. Select normal to put it back where we started. The other tool available is the color picker tool, or what I call the eyedropper tool. Click where it says pick color. Click this preview box to see the original with no changes as you select colors in the clip. When we choose this tool and come over to the frame, notice how my red cursor arrow turned to a little eyedropper. When I pick a color, the clip will completely change and the color temperature sensors will be overridden. You cannot use both the color picker tool and the temperature sensors at the same time. Keep in mind, when you pick a color in the clip, the computer will adjust the whole clip, not just the frame you see. That is why we divided the film earlier, to protect the light scene from these changes. You're supposed to select the color white to correct the film. In films like this that are so out of balance, I find you can try other colors besides white. I am now going to select some colors. Watch what happens. That's getting pretty close. Sometimes the eyedropper will beat the color temperature tool, and sometimes they won't. You can go to another part of the clip, take this scrubber, pull it over. Then you have to select the clip again. Come up to Color, White Balance, pick the eyedropper again, and then start selecting more colors until you find something that you're happy with. The truth is, this isn't how I actually white balance films. I have another tutorial showing you how to do what I'm about to do. I already put this color palette here ahead of time, but in the other tutorial I show how to make it. This is how I actually white balance films. I put the color palette I made on an overlay track. Then I start clicking on these colors. And when I get close to what I like this orangey square here, I come over here into these little orange colors and I start selecting in this area until I get it right about where I want. Once that's done, I can come down here, double click this, right click it, delete it. If I want, I can now move the clip on the timeline and it will keep the changes. The reason I mention that, to use the color palette, it only works with clips while they are on the overlay tracks. It does not work with clips that are up here in the timeline. But once you've changed them, you can move them to the timeline and it'll keep the color balance that you selected. That's how I actually do my own personal films. I have a video that shows you how to create that color palette. In just a minute, I'm going to be signing off, and you will see a view from the top of Mount Scott, Oklahoma. Below it will be a card to the left. Select it if you are interested in creating the color palette. The card to the right will show how to get rid of blue when it shows up on walls and places like people's white shirts or pants. I've learned a lot of times this blue color, the color balance tools will not remove by themselves, even when using my color palette. Select the logo between the two cards if you want to subscribe. This is Ron from Super 8 to Video, signing off.